everybody. Welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. This will be a brief segment, but just be a couple of stories and a little bit of imagery to round out your week. And a lot more to come up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Friday. So, I do have just a few clips that I want to share with you before the end of the week, and one is going to be on replay because I did it the other day, but it's no less. I mean, this is still a campaign cycle, and it hasn't slowed down that much. And so, shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, Let the Truth Be Told, Cold War Jesus, AZ Infidel, and Anthony Scioli. Thank you so much for all that you do to support the channel. So I want to start with something that I actually missed, and I usually don't miss these, even though it's kind of hard to sit through them. But I'm going to show this to you anyway because it kind of brings back the point in which I talked about the issue of concession at the end of this this election cycle. So here is, you have the House of Confusion with yours truly, Speaker of the House. So I'll be bringing that to you, as well as, of course, we'll do just a little bit of a replay on the Harris 60 Minutes, and I have a little bit of a parody on that. So I'll show you that, and we have one other ticker, and it's going to be more on a cultural kind of another cultural note. I said I wasn't going to follow up so much on this Ice Cube situation, but it looks like he got another interview, and I think he got an interview with a source that's a little bit more objective, and that's Maria Bartiromo. So I'm going to bring you that interview as well. So we're just going to have a few interviews and then just a few comments, and then let you get back to your Friday and your weekend. So hope you guys are doing well out there. And shout out to everybody in the stream, anybody that's out there in the stream. So we're going to start with Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and she's already doing what I consider a bit of. She's doing a little bit of a foreshadowing the amount of confusion that's going to come out of next week. Next week's going to be a huge week. I'll try to be around and try to keep you abreast on things that I think that might be relevant or pertinent. But I think, just from my perspective, I think it's going to be important to kind of watch those, watch the keystone states. So maybe we'll keep an eye on those. So yeah, without further ado, I will take you to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I really appreciate you guys on the Channelytics. It really makes a difference around here. So if you could be so kind as to hit that button, it'll take us a long way. I'll help us break through a couple of, maybe at least some of the artificial intelligence, the AI. We'll speak in codes around here. Shout out to everybody in the stream.
But we are ready. I feel very confident that Joe Biden will be elected president on Tuesday, whatever the end count is. But on the election that occurs on Tuesday, he will be elected. And on January 20th, he will be inaugurated president of the United States. So while we don't want to be overconfident or assume anything, we have to be ready for how we are going to go down a different path.
You said you're confident in Joe Biden on Tuesday here. I want to kind of ask you to look into the future a little bit on coronavirus, but other issues that could come up here. You always talk about your caucus and the beauty in the mix here. There's a lot
That's
of
right.
diverse opinions.
That's right.
Do you think, though, that that could be a problem, whether it be on coronavirus or some of these other legislative initiatives, environment, voting rights, John Lewis, those things, where it's pushed too far and that there is a schism between more moderates in your caucus and liberals,
No.
and what they intend to do, and why?
No.
Why?
And no, I don't. Our caucus has a beautiful array of thinking of generational, gender ID, ethnic background, geographic differences, and the rest. But the one thing that unites us is our commitment to America's working families. And that means our children, their health, their education, the economic security of their families, a clean, safe environment, including gun safety, in which they can thrive, in a world at peace in which they
High
can
definition of
together.
anarchy.
So again, we don't any
Thanks
of
so
us
much
want
for
to
coming
lead
by.
or represent a caucus that is
How are you?
lockstep,
Thanks so much for coming in. It's not too
lockstep
heavy.
caucus. We invite the exuberances,
Just gonna be
the
in and out.
differences of opinion, and we do not see that as a problem.
You
We
know
see
what?
that as an
These masks
invigoration.
are really taking on like a
Madam Speaker,
like a
the
C
economy
cup.
grew at an annual
See, you
rate
see
of
what I'm saying?
13.1% in the third quarter.
See what I'm
President
saying?
Trump deserves any credit for
She's
that.
talking. That's the
The CARES
peace
Act
agenda that comes from the UN. That's exactly what that
we
is,
lost
and that's
ground in the
the gun
second
grab.
quarter. This barely makes up for that. And the CARES Act deserves
I appreciate
credit
you
for
for coming
injecting
in.
the resources into the economy.
Great stream, by the way,
and then
earlier,
in our subsequent CARES and the subsequent
as always,
PPP.
per usual.
So it's as if somebody used an example this morning, as if you lost $100 in the second quarter, and now you're
I'm
making
just,
up $65. Gloria,
I'm just drawing it down to. I'm just gonna take a second here just to make a comment. See, this is the type of chaos that they're gearing up for. They are basically talking. She's saying whatever the results are. She's saying whatever the results are. So I'm just thinking, are we going to see a violent concession or a non-concession, or is somebody going to get arrested if somebody doesn't concede? I'm just thinking, who knows? I mean, if they're both arrest him. Can you imagine? Yeah, you did really well on that, by the way. Shout out to you. Keep the rest of us keep our hopes high. Keep us reaching for the stars. What was that? Casey Kasem or somebody back in the day. I'm telling my age or something right about now, but thanks so much for all that. So I'm going to keep going with this, and I've got just a few interviews here and little comments, and then we're going to be out of here. Thanks so much for coming in.
No, and if we don't pass a recovery bill, a COVID-19 bill, that we will face dire circumstances as well. So yes, Congress and the administration work together in a bipartisan way to pass the CARES Act as well as subsequent legislation to inject resources into the economy. The lack of doing that this time is going to take us back down to another path. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If you are correct that Joe Biden is going to be elected, you're still going to confront a balance of power with President Trump and a Republican Senate for the lame duck. Would that not argue for
Hi, DJ.
a somewhat smaller bill that the system can produce in the lame duck and then get the rest when Biden is president?
This is not a small, we're not talking size, we're talking quality. And we are not going to take a small bill that has the bulk of reinforcing funds to the richest people in America while questioning the integrity of people.
You see what I mean?
Insurance. So we'll have.
I want to say, you see the debauchery?
For two reasons.
I mean, I want to say another word.
Need help. They need real help.
This is,
And second of all, we have plans.
I'm not sure what's
here
going to
at the Biden
happen.
administration. We're going to build the
I
infrastructure
really
for
don't
the
know.
Greenway. We're going to make sure health
So
care
it's
is available.
so
to
we're down
everyone,
to
lower
a
the cost of
vaccine
prescription
or a
drugs. We're going to
lockdown.
have
That seems
HR
to
1,
be,
HR 1
those are your
layoff strategy
choices.
about cleaner government so that we can
Um,
reduce the role of big, dark, special interest money. to
she's
prevent
so
us from
projecting
having,
right now. It's just
policies that the American
a
people
safe
need and
vaccine
are
or a
have doubts that we can do
lockdown
unless we
and
reduce the role of big
still a
dark
vaccine.
money. And we've had a number of bills that we have passed.
Dog
that
and
will
pony.
address
Yes,
this.
yes.
Of course, this will be impacted by.
It's like this will never end because it's
Build America Better.
I'll
is
stop
similar
talking.
to our Moving
She'll be
America
done in just a
Forward,
second.
But nonetheless, we'll
Thanks
be
so much.
working in, between the White House and the Congress to get those jobs done. So we want to have as clean a slate as possible going into January. We will have to do more on the coronavirus to make sure that the vaccine, God willing, will be available, and that will take resources to make sure it's available to everyone, not just those in a position to pay for it. So yeah, no, why would we be talking to them if we didn't want a bill other than our HEROES Act 3.4 billion, which is what the trillion, which the American people need.
Yikes. Shout out to everybody in the stream. So yes, she's already, I agree. I absolutely agree. But she's projecting, she's talking about, she's just so full of fluff. And, they have no interest in helping people. They don't. I strongly disagree. And the definition says it all comes down to the vaccine. I can see. I mean, I believe that, and that's a point of, discontent for me. And I have a lot of issues with that, and I would imagine many people, But I think people, what they want to do is, I think they want to break people down so much that they're desperate, because you have all these this other confluence of things that people are dealing with, and you have, of course, the drug, the substance abuse that's going on. You have, you have the suicides. They're not talking about, the confluence of things that are going on. So it's fluff. It's more fluff. And yeah. All right. So there you go. You have Nancy Pelosi projecting a win, and she says whatever the count is. I mean, can you see it's like, that's pretty that's a lot of confusion, even if you're not paying attention. Whatever the results are, I don't know. It's just like, it's never going to end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us on to the next clip. Let's do just a mini little break and take you to what I have is the Ice Cube. Actually got another interview. I have my feelings about this platinum plan and the pandering and affirmative actions and all these things that these promises that people are making on, and to me, it's just another division. I mean, from a cultural standpoint, they're actually just sowing more division amongst, if you want to talk about the Black community, they're sowing more division. You have people that are actually informed and people that have stayed abreast of what's going on, but then you have another group of people that reside in a different place, whether it's no matter what it's based on. And it's just been another level of division. I think this level of these entries of these Hollywood and these entertainers coming into the picture, I think they're adding some more irritation. They're adding more destabilization to the mix, which, I mean, I figure, if you wanted to do something, you guys have had just as much time. You know, they quote the politicians' records, but then they've had their platforms for just as long, for a decent amount of time as well. So with that said, I'm going to take you to shout out to everybody in the stream, or for anybody that's driving by, it's not sure if they're coming in or not. I appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the next clip, and that will be, it's going to speak to my comments on the cultural things. So we have Ice Cube coming right up. Hope you guys are well, and here we go.
Now is the latest high-profile voice speaking out about helping Black America. Rapper, actor, director Ice Cube. Ice Cube, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. May I call you Cube?
Yeah, call me Cube.
Thank you so much, Cube. So you had a contract with Black America indicating different things that you want to see in terms of opportunities. You tried to work with the Trump administration. You also tried to work with the Democrats. President Trump responded. Can you tell us what happened?
Like after the death of George Floyd, I saw a lot of activity and a lot of people talking about, police reform, criminal justice reform. Not too many people talking about financial reform. And the reason I came on your show was because I knew that I'd be talking to the financial leaders in this country. And the fact that Black people, make up 13% of this country, but we're living off of, 0.5% of the wealth, not even a percentage point of the wealth in this country, should let everybody know. That should alarm everybody. And everybody should know that that's not sustainable. So that's the reason why, after coming out with the contract with Black America, I really went hard at both campaigns to see what they were going to do financially for the Black community specifically. So that was the quest.
President Trump is talking about extending lending. He's talking about $40 billion in new lending, and then that times 10 in order to allow the Black community to create businesses, start up business. Did you help him with his Platinum Plan in terms of that item, helping Black America create business?
What I tried to do was emphasize that, we've been under a smoke cloud of words like minority, people of color, diversity, urban, all these trick words that really puts us under all of America. We only get 2% of those programs. So I wanted to basically tell the administration that, look, Black people have paid an enormous debt. I'm talking about the descendants of slaves in this country have paid an enormous debt. There's an enormous debt owed. Some estimate that the country has lost about $16 trillion due to racism. So with these things in place, I wanted to make sure that anything being done, that we need to be at the front of this line. The Black people who've been here for centuries, who suffered here for centuries, need to be at the front of any line when it comes to helping businesses. Over the pandemic, over 43% of our businesses have shut down. Nobody's talking about that. And so I just want to make sure that, all these political people understand that we have to help a specific group of Americans to stop all this stuff that's going on in the streets, because the country is coming apart at the seams. I don't know why people don't see the real problem. It's not just police, it's financially.
With Facebook.
All right, thanks so much for tuning in. So there you had another he had another interview with Ice Cube in which he is discussing the contract with Black America plan, and I do think that he got a much better shot. Is on this in this program. So I think he knew that, and I think he'll choose his interviews a little differently going forward, because he said to her, I knew I would be talking to you, you're on Fox Business and you're speaking with more of a broader network, or you're speaking more directly to those that are more astute when it comes to finances and business, instead of going on to, I mean, my gosh, CNN is almost equivalent to a Star magazine or a National Enquirer. That's the credibility or the veracity that they have. What do I think? There's some parts of I just have lots of questions about here's the thing, the definition. You've got the CWBA, which that's Ice Cube's plan. And I don't know where I can go and see his actual plan versus the Platinum Plan. I think they borrowed some pieces from his CWBA, but it's not the CWBA. I see things in the Platinum Plan that I agree with, and there's things I don't agree with. But I don't know how is any of that going to work with the kind of Congress, how would you get any of these things passed? I'm just not, he talked about his plan, which I've seen the Platinum Plan, and he says that his plan, Ice Cube says that his plan even goes into the private sector. And I don't see that in the Platinum Plan. I don't know how much funding that he could do on his own, or you see, this is where I'm talking about. Where are the financiers in the Black community? It's not like there are none. Okay. When I'm thinking about that specifically, I'm thinking about, Robert Johnson of BET. He has money. Why is nobody putting up any money? And talking about it more organically, rather than, if you want to do something like this, you should do it more organically rather than bringing it to the federal government. I mean, honestly, I just don't see, I don't know how it can work. I mean, Ice Cube is saying whoever gets in, he's going to stay on them. But, you're not going to stay on them if the Democrats get in, and they weren't even willing to give you a meeting until after they get in. But then you have a gridlocked Congress that can't pass any bills, or, they can't pass anything. So I just don't know where this is going. I'm going to be honest. And to me, I try to be, this is an objective, I think, perspective here. I do believe if they wanted to do these kinds of projects, they had a better chance of, nobody complained about anything while Obama was in office. And for 8 years, no one brought anything out like this. No one talked about disparities at length. It was just like a total lid was on the Black community. And all of a sudden it's 2020. And I'm just thinking, if they wanted, and then see, this is where you get into it with left-leaning liberals. Oh, well, what was he supposed to do for the Black community? Okay, what are you asking other people to do for the Black community right now? Since you're asking, if you want to go to somebody on a sentimental, or if you want to go to somebody on a cultural level, why wouldn't you ask for it from somebody that was setting precedents. Why? Because I just don't, I don't think that we've had a real movement. We've had a lot of con, and I think that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the con. I think there was a level of con to the rights that were 64 to 65 under civil rights, because civil rights has been exploited and by everybody. Those groups that he was talking about, the POCs, the people of color, diversity, and he's saying, I'm addressing specifically Black people. I mean, he's calling that out, but I'm just thinking, I don't know. I can't see any of it working out. I don't see the chances of it working out. And not right now. I mean, not when you're having to not when you're going to the government to put money into the community. And then on top of that, are they talking about loans? Are we talking about loans, or are we talking about this is some form of reparations? I don't know what to call it. I really don't. But the CWBA, I haven't seen that. I've seen the Platinum Plan, but I haven't seen any of that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find a copy of it. I don't know if Ice Cube has posted that anywhere. But I just think that, the Black community should have put up some money by now. We've had there's people that have money and they have their own production companies. You've got multimillionaires. You've got CEOs. I just don't see them getting it done. And I think it needs a little bit of work anyway. So shout out to you, The Definition. Really appreciate you for coming in. So with that said, I am going to take us to the final final installment of this one. And this is coming from the 60 Minutes clip. So I'll start with the 60 Minutes clip if you were around the other day, but I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to give you some organic clips, and then I'm going to give you the parody on it. Here you go.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually,
somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually.
So there's your first installment on that. And the second one.
Lived experience as it relates to any issue that we confront. And I promised Joe that I will give him that perspective and always be honest with him.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No.
There again, that was your second installment. If you weren't laughing, then maybe you're not getting it. So here's the final one.
Of a woman who grew up a Black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who also, likes hip hop. Like, what do you want to know?
So there you have it. So you have Kamala doing her interview on 60 Minutes. But now I'm going to bring you what I thought one more time is a little bit lighter on this subject here. I'm going to bring you a little bit of a parody here, which I think is pretty good. It's pretty good top down. All right, guys.
Usually try to talk about it. I don't know why they don't talk about it today. I guess if it's something negative and it's not going to benefit them, why talk about it? Hey, check this out. Did anybody see whoa, boy, I tell you, man, did anybody see the 60-minute interview with Kamala Harris? Lady sits down, reporter, she She has a question. Okay, you have the most liberal voting record, and you are considered the most liberal senator ever in American history. Kamala Harris' response. Are you going to answer the question? Yeah. Okay, next question. Senator Harris, you are also considered a socialist. Okay, what's your answer to the question? So you are the most liberal and the most socialist senator in the history of the United States of America. Okay, I promised Joe that I would bring my perspective and be the most honest with him. This was part of the deal that I could be. Are you serious? Are you really serious? And this is going to be the next president? Because we all know that they're going to invoke the 25th Amendment with incompetent Joe. You know, Joe Biden running for the office of senator against the president, George Bush, in 2020. I'm telling you, this is a setup to put that woman in the White House. I wonder if it's going to work or not. That's the key. Is it going to work? Well, we're going to see, ain't we?
All right. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Thanks so much for tuning in to this brief Friday flash. And I appreciate everything. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next live stream, comment section, and definitely next week for more during this wonky election cycle. And I look forward to seeing you guys again then. So have a great weekend.